already started the Christmas fund and it's July, so don't be expecting no car or nothing, mama, but good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here, today is going to be kind of like an update video on a previous subject that I did in my productivity vlog. I will put it in the cards above, but in that video I was talking about how I was starting a new budgeting process and I was like hoping it was successful. XYZ. First, I want to start with a disclaimer about privilege. I am very, very grateful to have 2 jobs. In addition to that, like a couple of side hustles. But like I'm not making I ain't rich, y'all. I ain't rich. But I think one thing people struggle to realize, especially when it comes to our people, is like everyone preaches at us to budget and to have financial responsibility, and y'all don't know how to save and you don't know how to budget. It is hard to budget when you do not have enough money. Let's say that again. It is hard to budget when you do not have enough money. When you're just thinking about how you can cover the basics, it becomes a chore to cover the extras. Now, with that said, again, thankfully I am in a position of privilege, it may seem like, but I think that my budget is also realistic. I be struggling too sometimes, okay? I have my phone here with some notes because like I really had some stuff that I wanted to go over for this video, and like I don't want to miss literally any of the thoughts that I have. Essentially, I started this budgeting system because budgeting apps never worked for me. Now, whether that was my own laziness or the app's interface or user-friendly interactivity or whatever, that might be up for debate. But ironically, when I was working at UGA, we did not get paid that much. Like, we did not get paid that much. We got paid on the last business day of every single month. So waiting to get paid on the 30th or the 31st of every month, I kind of didn't even care about budgeting, because it's like I had to spend or I had to pay my bills, and then whatever money I had left over, like, you got to survive on that. You got to make it work. And ironically, with this job, I'm starting to make more money, and that really pushed me into a zone of wanting to save more, because I didn't want to make more money and then not have anything to show for it at the end of the day. That's one of the worst feelings ever, when you literally don't know where your money went. I mean, obviously we know where it went, but we be sitting there looking at our bank statement like, you really had to go dumb and Zara, didn't you? Yeah, budgeting apps never really worked for me. I tried Mint, and I just felt like the alerts were too late. I don't need to know that I went over my budget after I go over my budget. Like, that's not that helpful for me. I tried Copilot, and at first I was like, hey, this bomb, I'm finna use it. It's bomb, I'm finna use it. Did not use it. I kind of found it confusing. And another thing, like, all these budgeting apps want you to pay, and that's kind of counterintuitive to me, or counterproductive to me, because I'm like, why am I paying y'all when my ultimate goal is saving monies? Like, that was just it was just not working out for me. In addition to that, not only do I have 2 jobs, I also have like a couple of side hustles, and so it was just hard to like map out how I wanted to spend my money, in addition to where my money absolutely needed to be going. So what I started to do is research a bunch of YouTube videos about budgeting. I'm not even sure how I came across this method, but I was like, you know what? I'm about to try that. And this method is essentially like zero-based budgeting, the envelope method, every dollar counts, blah blah. But essentially how the system works is that you list out the bill, you list out the amount, and you list out the due date. For me, this is insanely helpful because I can easily pinpoint which dates things are due, and I never feel like, oh my gosh, I have like everything due at once, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I can look at the dates and be like, oh, this is due then, this is due then, this is due then. And by looking at those different due dates in addition to the amounts that are due, I can look and go to my like payroll calendar and see what check will go to what bill. Now, once again, for me, this works, but for you, it can also work. Every check is going to be different for every person, of course. So each day before or the day of that I get paid, I make sure to go in there and write out the bills that I have during that time period or during that pay period, along with their total amounts. After you calculate the total amount of your bills due, you're going to want to make sure that you keep that amount of money in the bank. Do what with it? Keep that amount of money in the bank, okay? After you calculate the amount of money that you need to keep in the bank, you're then going to see how much money you have left over. Out of the money that you have left over, you are going to actually withdraw that from the bank. Now, this process may look different for everyone, whether you want to like do it all at once or make weekly or bi-weekly visits to the bank. You are going to withdraw that money, and after you withdraw that money, or before you withdraw that money, I personally do mine before, you're going to calculate your variable expenses and how much money you want to allocate to your sinking funds. So for me, my variable expenses, variable means always changing, allowing yourself some flexibility. Mine are personal, which personal for me includes nails, brows, you dig, eyelashes, any type of body products or body care that I need, anything that's gonna help me or affect me personally, I allocate that to my personal budget. Then of course we have our grocery budget. Your girl gotta eat, period. We're not starving. Then I have gas, and I also have fun. These are my variable expenses. The amount of money that I put into those envelopes, it can vary like every pay cycle based on what I have going on that cycle. So sometimes if I know like I'm gonna take a trip or something, I'm gonna put less money in the grocery envelope, because why would I need groceries if I'm not at home? You dig? Then for your sinking funds, you can literally create a sinking fund for anything that you want. So some of my sinking funds include new place, Christmas, because I want to get people gifts, clothing, your girl likes shopping, travel, medical, my boss fund, like let's say I'm saving up to try out Final Cut Pro, or I want a new lens or something like that. And I also have a car envelope, but that one's in the car because I had to use it. And yeah, I got caught up at first in wanting to have like cute budgeting binders and cute envelopes like everyone that I saw on YouTube, but then I was like, we're trying to get to step one here. Step one for me, I bought these envelopes from the dollar store, and I wrote on them what it's gonna be for. Like our goal is to save money right now. We already cute too, but our goal is to save money before we get down to spending money on products. So after you calculate your variable expenses and you put your money to the side for those expenses each pay cycle, then the remaining funds are gonna get allocated to your sinking funds envelopes. Again, your sinking funds can literally be whatever you want to save up for. And for me, this personally works so much better than just having like a single savings account, because I can save for like long-term and short-term things. So now I'm gonna take y'all through the process of budgeting, essentially how I do it, what it looks like on a check-to-check cycle, how you set it up, and yeah. So I have recently been doing mine on my iPad, but for the purposes of this video and to like reduce glare and stuff, I'm going to show you how I do it on or with pen and paper, which is how I started it out. But first you want to list out every bill that you have along with the dollar amount and the due date. So I have rent, for bills like utilities, I just provide like an average, and if I go up or down, usually I'm covered by like whatever was left over in my bank account. But yeah, you can just do an estimate unless yours are the same each time. And another reason why I like this method is because I can clearly see like the subscriptions that I have, and you can maybe cancel like the things that you don't need. I know for me, one time I was like, what the heck? Someone took money on my account, but it was something that I had signed up for accidentally. And this method has pretty much made me like more aware of what's coming out of my account, because since you're withdrawing your money each cycle, there's not that many transactions happening on your account. So when something happens and you did not plan for that, you will see it, okay? You will see it. Then I write out the amount for each. I'm just gonna put like some of them up here. And so on. So like I said, what you want to do is write down the amount that you have to pay in addition to the days that it is due. So now we get into the actual planning. So with my job right now, each check is about $2,000, but one thing that I did make sure to do when I got hired, or like when I did my information, was to allocate 20%, is it 20%? Yeah, 20% of my check to my savings account automatically. And so of course, when that happens, each of my checks is about $1,600 a month. So with that, I know that I get paid this weekend, and so I go back. I'm gonna look and see what I have. So for this one, my fixed expenses are Canva, Sculpt U, which is like part of my gym thing, the actual gym, and thematic. So after I write down what is due, I go back and look at the amounts. Oh, I might also add braces on here. It's very important that you double check what is due, because yeah, in the beginning I like was forgetting some subscriptions and I'm like, oh Lord, I didn't take out too much money. So you want to make sure that you're double checking what is due for that cycle. But after that, I go through, I calculate the total amount, and we have 328.94. I'm gonna double check that because you don't want to be in the bank looking silly now. I was gonna say I'm bad at math, but I'm not bad at math. We just have to take it a little slow sometimes. Yep. So I know that no matter what happens, I need to keep $328.94 in the bank at all times this month until these bills come out, okay? So you wanna make sure that you have this amount in the bank to cover your bills. After my fixed expenses, I go down to my variable expenses. And so I am going out this weekend, so we're going out of town this weekend. So I am going to, for my grocery budget, I also put like fast food in there. Groceries, gas, fun, personal. For groceries, I'm gonna do $150. For gas, I'm gonna do $60. Fun, I usually always do $50. And then personal, I'm like, what's coming up? This is, you also have to think about what's coming up. I think nails are coming up. That's gonna be at least, let's say $60. I'm just gonna do $200 in my personal this check. And for me, I pay at, usually I like my nail places and stuff like that. I pay with card, so I will sometimes keep this in there. Other times I'll take it out. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. But after I go through my variable expenses, 150 plus 60 plus 50 plus 200 and again, we are keeping this in the bank. Keeping this amount in the bank. We are taking out this amount, okay? And I always write that down. I write like keep in, take out, just so my eyes are drawn to it. So we had our 1271 right here. Our variable expenses add up to be 460. So we're gonna do 1271. I'm gonna like just round down. Minus 460. We then have $811 to allocate to our sinking funds. Again, my sinking funds are new place, clothes, car, what else I got? Travel, medical, boss, what else? Oh, Christmas. Now for some of them, I have rules like off rip, new place is getting $100. So we're gonna do 811 minus 100. Now we have 711. I'm gonna put 100 to my car as well. Now we got 611. Medical can get medical or travel. We're gonna do both. 100. And then medical 100. Now we have 411. I could low-key do way more on this bill cycle. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like during the first bill or first check of the month, I'm like, oh nah, 15, 30, 25, 30. But this one I have a lot more flexibility. Like I have so much that I'm like, wait a second. So we actually gonna start this over. Instead of, because we want our stuff to be growing, instead of 100 to new place, I'm gonna do 200. I am going to do, let's do 100, or let's do 200 to boss, because I've been neglecting boss. We are gonna do 150 for Christmas. We're gonna do $100 for medical, 51 for travel, clothes, and 50 for car. So obviously you want to double check your math. And if this equals 811, then you're doing good. If it does not, girl, you need to go do it again. So after I have all of these numbers figured out, once again, I have my keep in, and then I have my take out. Then I make a new page. And you're gonna start to write your, pretty much everything that you need money taken out for. $100, 50, ooh, that's an ugly 50, 20, 10, 5, 1. So when you go to the bank, you will have a map already of the denominations that you want for each item. So like for gas, and I usually look at my old ones to see like how I split it up, how I split it up already. But okay, let's do just the easy one. Like for fun, I said 50. So So I'm gonna do 2 20s and 2 5s, because 25 plus 25, that's 50. So you're gonna go do that all the way through, and then at the bottom you will tally up the amount total that you have of each item. And again, this should equal, so whatever is right here, that should equal the total amount of money that you wanted to take out. So out of all your stuff that you tally up, so like for new place, let's say I do 200, blah blah, imagine I just have 200 right here, I have whatever right here, whatever right here, whatever right here, whatever right here. That should all equal this number right here. Okay, does that make sense? Now I know that might sound like difficult or confusing, but I promise you, after like looking at it a couple times, you're really getting the hang of it. It really becomes like almost calming to do. Like, I like mapping out the bills that I have for the month, and like seeing how much money you are able to stuff in your envelopes each time is like, checks are going to be harder than others, or like it might feel less fulfilling essentially, because you're not going to be putting $100+ in your sinking fund or in one envelope every single time. Like, I think last time I stuffed $15 in one envelope and I was like, But then I remember this is literally extra. This is literally extra. So while some checks might be harder than others and you might feel kind of down, like, I really want to see this envelope get a little more stuff this time, the beauty is that your bills are handled regardless. Like, you're worrying about that extra, but your bills are handled. As someone who occasionally suffers with anxiety, I've actually gotten insanely better at it. But for me, a lot of my anxiety came from uncertain financial situations, or like when I have to spend more money than I thought I was gonna have to spend. So having these envelopes and having a savings in general is truly just like a safeguard for me. And it helps me feel so much better. Like, I feel a lot more prepared for situations that might come up, in addition to just being prepared for my future in general. Like, I already started the Christmas fund and it's July, so don't be expecting no car or nothing, mama, but you could get something. You could get something. You see what I'm saying? Like, it takes away a lot of the guesswork. That's one of the best parts to me, and it makes me excited to like sit down and map out what I have to do. So yeah, I hope that y'all found this video enjoyable. Not only enjoyable, but helpful as well. If you have to write yourself some notes or like a step-by-step of what to do, do that, because that's what I had to do at first. I'm like, okay, first calculate, then do this, then do that, just because that's how I learned. I can also put like a step-by-step in the description box below. You can do this on paper, you can do this on your iPad. That's what I started doing, just to like save paper and just to have a just like an ongoing list of my bills that I don't have to like write out each month. If anybody needs help or like wants more clarity on what to do, how to do it, all of that, you can comment down below. You can message me on Instagram. I'm gonna help you out. I want all of us to dream. We got goals, we got stuff to do, people to see, folks to take care of, and we can do all that with a little bit extra effort. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.